So Spark OS. Now, this is a custom ROM that I've been using since the last 10 days on the Mi 11X, also known as Poco F3. Reason being, I don't have the 9T, the H30 Ultra or the 12 Pro. All of them have gone, and now we will be buying some new Gen 2 flagships and stuff like that. But that didn't stop me from using the Mi 11X with a custom ROM as my daily driver, a personal device, and giving you guys a complete review. Hello everyone, my name is Kailash, you're watching PhoneOps, and today we are talking about the complete review of the latest version of Spark OS, which comes with MIUI camera and Android 13. So before we get into the details, if you haven't already, please subscribe because it doesn't cost you anything and it really motivates us to make amazing content like this. Now without further ado, hello awesome people, welcome to PhoneOps. My name is Kailash, let's get going. Now, we will begin with what this ROM exactly has to say from the developer. So as you can see, this is Spark OS 13.3 official, Android 13 updated on the 20th of December 2022. So I think this ROM gets one update every month. Now, apart from this, the device changelog per se will be pretty extensive because as you can see, there are a ton of changes that they have made. Now, the installation process is pretty simple. It's mentioned over here, recommended firmware is the EEA one. That's what I'm using. Leica camera added, which is a good thing. In case earphones are not working, disable hi-fi sound option from Dirac. I use Bluetooth headphones, so I don't really have a problem. Can dirty flash over 13.2, so if you're on the previous version, you can dirty flash this as well. And clean flash mandatory if coming from 13.1 or any other ROM. So I would recommend you do a clean flash. This ROM does come with GApps, so you just need to flash the firmware and the GApps and then format data and you should be good to go. Now let's start talking about this ROM, and before that, what you see over here is this particular interface is a part of this ROM's customization, which I think is a very neat touch. You have all your favorite applications over here from the dock, and you have a shortcut to directly launch apps, and you get this semi-transparent look. So in my opinion, that is pretty decent. Now the moment you boot into this ROM, you will see that you have a very clean interface like basic stock Android, unless you go ahead and customize it, and that is what I've done over here. Now if you pull from the top to bottom, you will see that you have these quick tiles, you have this data usage, segregated for Wi-Fi and mobile data usage that I've enabled. You can see that these quick tiles look different, and there are a ton of quick tiles. So definitely, Spark OS even in the Android 13 version is doing a splendid job as far as customization is concerned. There is no feature that you would miss. Everything is present and working absolutely fine. Now moving on, if you long press over here, you will get three options. One is home settings, widgets and wallpaper and style. If you go to the option called home settings, you get access to a launcher which is highly customizable once again. Now you have icon settings, you have home screen settings, and just look at the amount of options that you have over here. Along with that, you have options to customize themed icons in the app drawer as well. So for example, you can see these icons are colorful now. If I enable this, bam, everything looks similar, but not all of them are themed, so I prefer to keep it disabled. You have recents customization as well, and recents look and work very smooth and fluid. That is one of the highlights of all the custom ROMs powered by Android 13 for this wonderful device, and it's doing a splendid job. As you can see, the smoothness is just next level. Now apart from this, you do have some miscellaneous customizations, and if you go to widgets, you do have your standard Android 13 widgets present, and they are working absolutely fine. Now last but not the least, you do have wallpaper and style, which does gives you options to all the customizations. You do have a lot of custom wallpapers over here. They look pretty good and they work pretty well as well, right? You do have themed icons which I've enabled, and all in all, this look on the home screen looks great. Of course, to the left, you do have the Google feed, which works smooth as butter, and trust me, this experience is way better than MIUI. Now, one by one, when we talk about different aspects of a custom ROM, I will tell you how better or on par or worse compared to MIUI this is. So you can actually decide if you want to, switch from a stock ROM to a custom ROM or something like that. Now, next up, let's talk about one of the most important aspects of a custom ROM, which is usually a weak point for custom ROMs, but for this one, it is a strong point. That is the camera application. Now, as you can see over here, we have MIUI camera, the Leica variant. Everything is working absolutely fine. The only one small bug is if you change a lot of settings in the camera app and you want to record video using the front camera, you might have some issues. Well, that in my opinion is not a bug because very few people will record selfie video, right? So all in all, portrait mode, night mode, vlog mode, all the advanced features of this camera app are working fine, and that on an AOSP powered Android 13 custom ROM is really amazing. Now let's move on to settings. That's where most of the interesting things for a custom ROMs do happen. So once you actually go to settings and you go to about, you will see that you have all your usual stuff over here. But if you click on about device, you will see all the different information that you need for this particular ROM. Now over here, you have the SparkOS version 13.3. This is of course an official build, the name of the maintainer. Kernel that I'm using with this particular ROM is the Real King kernel. I've flashed a custom kernel. I've not really had any major issues. So yes, you can try this combo of SparkOS and Real King kernel. It works well and it's doing a great job as well. Now, all said and done, there are three important things that matter to a lot of people when using a custom ROM. One is of course the camera that we have spoken about. Two is the customization menu, you know how much you can customize the ROM. And three, as we see it, is the stability. The camera and stability are great, but what about customizations? And there is a menu called Fireworks, which is really important and interesting, because if you go to themes, just see the amount of customization you have over here. It is splendid, it looks great, and all of them, you know, all the features are working, and the list just goes on and on and on. I've probably tried to customize each and every aspect of this, and it is doing a great job. Then you have lock screen customization, you know, charging animation, ripple effect, all these things, as you can see. Apart from this, you do have things like status bar, gestures, miscellaneous, and power menu. Even in status bar, as you can see, I've done a ton of customization over here and it works absolutely fine. Now, just look at the amount of customization you have even in the status bar menu. In my opinion, that is a brilliant job. Now, Fireworks once again gives you access to a lot of gestures. And again, you have some miscellaneous heads-up customization, toast app icon customization. You can unlock higher FPS in games. So I've not really tried BGMI or PUBG because, yeah, you know, Tencent, they gave us a strike. So we're not going to try their games. Anyways, Apex Mobile, I did play for more than a couple of hours and I experienced the gameplay was really smooth. Even, you know, in long durations or intense fights, the game didn't give me any trouble. Now, what adds to the flair of gaming is this sub menu called Game Space, where you do get a ton of customizations. You can add individual games from here as per your choice, and you then have further customization. I would suggest you to use performance mode and disable angle because that can create issues with some games, but all in all, most of the time it was about 55 FPS, so the gaming experience was great. The battery life, well, pretty good, I would say, considering this device has a 4520 milliampere battery with 33 watt charging. It takes about 1 hour 20 minutes to charge from say 5% to 100%. And if we talk about the battery backup, well, for me it has been 4 to 5 hours of screen on time every single day and it has been doing just fine. Now, let's talk about the not so good things, which is bugs. There are not many bugs that I've experienced, but sometimes I would say once every 3 days, one instance would be there wherein the UI would either stop or restart. That is one bug. And the second bug is if you directly go to settings and you try to open the battery option, nothing happens. But if you swipe all the way down and go here to the battery estimates, you will be able to go to the battery menu. Now, if you talk about the battery usage over here, as you can see, I've been charging, discharging. So most of the time my battery usage has been great. You do get thermal profiles, which I've been using for games. So they do a pretty decent job as well. So, you know, let's wrap this up by saying that this is one of the best USB powered custom ROMs, which will give you a complete experience with MIUI camera, with good gaming, decent battery life. And you can use banking applications as well because you do have safety net passing, you do have Widevine L1 certification for your content consumption. All in all, SparkOS's latest version for the Mi 11X is doing a splendid job. Go ahead and give it a try. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Keep smiling. Take care. Goodbye.